And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Buzz. My name is Kim Mastrofino, and with me as a co-host tonight is Diane Coburn-Martin. Hi, Diane. How you doing?
Hello. Very good. How about you?
I'm doing good. It's been busy, but it's a good busy. So glad to see you. And we have actually two very special guests tonight. One is Frank Sposato, and the other is Ed Magowan. So please welcome Ed and Frank. So usually we clap for this, but we don't have to. But
Good to have you guys.
it's good to have you. It definitely is.
Good to be here.
I know, and you guys are, you don't live in the area, so kudos that you were able to get on, and that's the wonder of technology these days, that you can be anywhere and you can still be here. So looking forward to sitting down with you and chatting and listening to everything that's happening in your world. So, Diane, I guess we'll get started. You have the first question.
Yeah. So basically, it's been 50 years. 50 years. Can you believe that we graduated? Still can't quite wrap my head around it, even though I say it all the time. Yeah. So just wanting to have you update us on what the heck has been going on for the past 50 years. Not sure who would like to go first, but
go ahead, Ed. You're older than me.
Oh, what coming in? I went to the Navy in September '73. I spent the summer in Westerly, and then I did that for 22 years.
Wow.
And lived in a number of places. I was stationed. I was stationed in Italy. I was stationed on Guam multiple times. I traveled frequently to Japan and the Philippines, and on several ships. Made several cruises across the Pacific.
Wow.
Interesting times, and then it ended up here in Pensacola. This was my last duty station, and given the choice between staying here or going to Norfolk, Virginia, I had 22 years in at the time. I said, that's it. I don't want to go to Norfolk. So I ended up staying in Pensacola. Been here ever since. Went to University of West Florida on GI Bill, and I ended up working as a lab technician in an R&D facility for a place here that we made filtration materials, and my particular specialty was beer and wine filtration. So I often used to walk into the plant with a case of beer on my shoulder because I have to test the stuff, and I would run it through our filters. So I was a real popular guy.
How cool is that?
Yeah, right.
A tough job, Ed.
Someone's got to do it. That's when I found out that you couldn't buy beer at 7 a.m. in Florida. I'd walk into the grocery store to get some, and they'd say, "We can't sell you beer. I'm over 21. No, we can't sell you beer until 10 o'clock.
Wow.
But I retired from that job in 2014, and I've been retired since.
Wow, good
and
for
my
you.
Primary activity, other than all the other stuff we do, I always had an interest in astronomy, and I do a lot of that here. I'm pretty active with that. I do programs in some of the state parks around here and out at the beach, and just have a good time doing that.
Very nice.
And, got married, 3 kids, four kids. One was already, I married a lady who already had a kid. But I've got a couple of sons here, and a daughter out in Denver, and a son that's out of, he's an over-the-road driver out of Tennessee near Nashville, and another one that's an over-the-road driver out of an outfit near Chicago, but he uses this as his home, so we get to see him about every month and a half or so.
Great.
And he spends the holidays down here with us.
Very
and
nice.
Other than that, I've lost all my hair.
Not all of it.
Makes life
Not all of
easier.
it.
And save
I
money
see a little bit there. There's a little on the side.
Yeah.
What made you go into the Navy, Ed? Any special?
I kind of had to get out of Westerly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was a good way to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it ended up, I was expecting to go and spend a few years and then get out and go to school. and I just really was enjoying it too much.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
thank you for doing
I
that.
left. In fact, well, 2 years. We graduated in '73, so less than a year and a half after we graduated, I was living on Guam, and I was a happy camper. I spent all
Wow.
my time scuba diving, hiking out through the hills and the jungle, and just enjoying life. And that was it.
That's
The bugs bit me,
incredible.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
That's
thanks
awesome.
for that. So, Frank, it's your turn.
Oh wow, where do we start? I caught the broadcast that Bruce Dove was in a little while ago. I caught the rebroadcast of it, and I remember he was talking about when he got out of high school. Last thing he wanted to do was continue his academic career. It was about done with that. And I said, well, we shared that common theme. Last thing I wanted when I got out of high school was continue schooling.
School.
And I pulled a real high draft number. 352, I think, was my draft number. So I didn't have to worry about the service.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'm gonna make a few bucks. I'm gonna work for a year before I head off to URI or wherever I was gonna go. So, I was pumping gas at Algiers Exxon or Algiers Esso back then, and went into auto mechanics and just started working there. Ended up 13 years there.
Wow.
And then one of my clients was starting a company that was revolved around the energy situation. So he talked me into leaving after I built my first house and had my very first mortgage. He talked me into leaving a salaried position and go to a fully commissioned sales position with a company that had just started a week ago and was operating out of the living room of his house. So for some reason, I made that leap of faith and moved into sales, and did that for quite a while, and was pretty successful in it. And school then just became a faint memory. Got into home improvement sales and remodeling and home construction with a company in Connecticut that the owner later has become my brother-in-law, married my sister. We started an independent business in Saybrook, Connecticut, that we would buy, remodel, and flip homes, and also build spec homes. So I was doing that for quite some time, and during that time, while I was working in Connecticut, I was married. I was living in Ashway, but I got my private pilot's license. Bought a small plane with a buddy of mine, so I was flying around New England and flying up to Martha's Vineyard and out to Block Island on a regular basis. So I was having fun doing that.
Yeah.
And then let me think, 2003, I moved to Vegas. My sister had been there for 6 years, and I didn't like the new construction housing market in Connecticut much because of the regulations, and Vegas was just wide open. So my business partner, future brother-in-law, and I moved out there, and I got my real estate license. He got his contractor's license, and we started building spec homes. And we were building big ones, 8,000, 9,000 square foot homes.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And the market was hot, and we were doing really well. And we felt the market starting to soften. So we were watching it as we were going along. A year after I moved there, I got divorced. So after a 20-year marriage with no kids, thankfully, I got divorced. So we, again, were watching this market and just, this was all pre-2008. We finished our last spec house and decided to get out of Vegas. That's when I moved to Costa Rica the very first time. That was in 2004 or 2005, a year after I got divorced, and was there for a year, but couldn't quite make it work. Costa Rica's got some very strict laws regarding outsiders coming in and taking jobs from locals. You have to be a permanent resident before they. It's not like the United States,
Yeah,
They protect their workers down there.
that's good.
So after a year, I returned to Vegas around 2006 and got a I got a job. Went to work for a big commercial real estate company here. Was with them for 2.5 years. They went belly up because 2008 hit. So I was unemployed, and then I got connected with and was working with the largest bankruptcy law firm in Nevada, and was with them for 3 years until they went belly up. So what did I do after that? Got tired of working for other people and having my future decided on by somebody else or something else out of my control. And I said, I'm not going to do that anymore. So I got my insurance license. That was around 2013 or so, and started my own business, which I still continue today. I do Medicare insurance, and I also do the Affordable Care Act. So under 65
Wow.
and over 65 is my market. In the middle of all that, around 2015, I bought into 10% ownership of a film production company in Vegas. And and I co-wrote a script for a movie called City Limits, which was a crime drama based in Vegas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were
That's
going to do this
awesome.
film.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who do we have on board? Ron Perlman had read the script. Sharon Stone, Eric Roberts, Julia Roberts' younger brother, had read the script.
Wow.
All expressed an interest in coming on board once we got financing, but financing fell through. Nevada had some tax credits that were being allocated for film production if you produce a film in Vegas and employed more than 80% of people from Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all great. That was going to be our seed money. And from there, financing was lined up. And then Tulsa came in, and the powers that be said, well, we're going to give you this huge tax break to come into Nevada and build your batteries for your cars. And the money came from the film industry. So as close as we got, it was gone.
Wow.
So without the funding, the script is collecting dust on a shelf.
Oh, that's a shame.
But it was a fun couple of years. I was spending a lot of time in Hollywood and meeting with directors and executive directors and producers and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. It was an experience.
Yeah, I bet. That sounds awesome.
So after that was a couple of years. So then in 2017, I turned 62, and I said, I'm going to take early Social Security. And I had always said from the year that I was in Costa Rica, I always said that I was going to come back. So in 2017, March 1st, 2017, the month that I turned 62, pulled my early Social Security, got rid of everything except my car. I still have that in Vegas, and moved to Costa Rica. Packed up, and 2 suitcases later, it was in Costa Rica, and I've been here since.
Wow.
Now I have, like I said, I have my residency now, and in December I'll be applying for my citizenship.
That's great. Oh my God. Wow. I'm tired.
So I've done a few things.
Yeah.
Just a few.
So. Yeah.
I'm impressed. You both have done a tremendous amount, and it's so nice to hear the stories and where you came from and where you are now. It's remarkable. And Frank, you got married too, right?
Yeah, I just got married a year and a half ago in December to a gal who was born and raised in Costa Rica.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
That's
What
great.
part
Third time's the charm, Ed? Is that what they say?
Yeah, it is.
What part do you live in, Frank?
Well, I've moved around, and when I first came down here, I lived just outside of the capital city, but didn't like that too many people, and not really the true Costa Rica feel. So I moved to the Pacific Northwest, which is province of Guanacaste, and stayed there. That's where I met my wife. And once we met, we left there, and now we're in Jaco, which is about 3.5 hours further south towards Panama.
Nice.
Nice.
Guanacaste is very dry in their dry season. They get about 40 inches of rain a year. And where I am now, we get about 140 inches of rain a year.
Wow.
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 Ed will associate with that very well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And along with that, we, our occasional earthquake, we get the ground shakes
Occasional
quite often
earthquake.
here.
How occasional?
Well, the ones that you can really feel probably once every 3 months where I am.
Whoa.
But they have
Wow.
several during the day that they can record the seismic activity, but you don't really feel them. I'm talking about the ones where your lamps are swinging off the ceiling and stuff like that.
Wow.
Those are a little scary.
Is that why it's inexpensive to live there?
No, I don't think so.
Just asking.
Labor's super cheap here, so that anything labor based is so affordable.
It is
Wow.
beautiful. We went there on vacation one time. I don't even know where we went. I remember the sand was very black.
Oh,
And
yeah,
we went up into the mountains, and it was absolutely breathtaking. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a number of microclimates throughout the country. For a country that's only the size of West Virginia, I think.
Oh, wow.
Probably 3 or 4 microclimates. You can go from, tropical rainforest to, temperate 70-degree weather year round.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I like it.
Good.
Well,
Good.
that's the main thing. If you like it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And Ed, you
That's
must have
good.
loved traveling around, especially when you were a little younger, when able to do all that and go all those places.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and all the moves I made, all the transfers I had, in different duty stations in the Navy. I always moved from one continent to another. It was never one of
Yeah.
these. Okay, you're going from Connecticut to Virginia types. No, it was Guam. I was up in Connecticut for a couple of years. It was nice to be up there near my family.
That is nice.
But from there, I went to Italy, and then from Italy right back to Guam.
Wow.
Wow.
I would have gone AWOL in Italy.
I was in Sardinia. I was in northern Sardinia. The area was pretty, but it was a rough duty station.
Really?
Of all the places, and that's the thing. I really loved the area. I loved being there. It was wonderful, but the working situation was intolerable. So I did the minimum time I had to be there,
Yeah.
and then I left. I really expected to stay there for a number of years, and I was flabbergasted. It
Wow.
just really was not a good situation for working. And it had nothing to do with being in Italy. It was the command itself.
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
oh, oh. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
And because it was considered kind of an isolated duty station, which it really wasn't, but because it was considered kind of isolated, afterwards I pretty much had my choice where I wanted to go. And, for a laugh, I said, well, yeah, I'd like to go back to Guam. And, a week later I had orders back to Guam, so we're pretty happy.
Good. Good for
That is
you.
good. That
Yeah.
is good.
I did like you, Guam's U.S., but I became a resident over there, and, paid my taxes and all that other kind of stuff. And it was ended up being an interesting situation because so many military people did not want to be stationed on Guam because they considered it isolated, but they got to a point where they were paying people an additional incentive for being stationed there.
Mhm.
But because I was a resident, I couldn't get that.
Wow.
Got a laugh out of that.
Wow.
You mentioned taxes. One of the things about Costa Rica is none of my income is taxed in Costa Rica, even though I'm a resident. And I do have a business here that I do health insurance for expats, but it's internet based, and the companies are everywhere else but Costa Rica. So they don't get their fingers into any of my income.
They don't tax your U.S. income.
No, sir.
Okay. Can you pick me up at the airport next week?
I think we'll all go.
I'll do it, man. I'll do it. And,
You'll need a bigger house for us.
And I get the benefit. I get the benefit of the government insurance. I pay $34 a month
Yeah.
from health insurance here. Of course, I keep my Medicare for the U.S., but here it's $34 a month, covers any prescriptions and basically all of your care. So, yeah, it's pretty. There's a lot of people now who say, "Oh, Costa Rica is so expensive." Well, okay, where isn't? Compared to before.
Exactly.
Of course, everything is.
Yeah.
But-
And what you get for it matters quite a bit.
Yeah.
Philippines was very inexpensive.
Mhm.
I paid, probably like $30 a month for an apartment.
There you go.
But
Wow.
the thing is, it was like anything else. It was kind of unheard of.
Mhm.
It was nice. I liked living by the water and everything, but I couldn't see staying there.
Mm.
My wife is from the Philippines.
Okay.
Hmm.
It was a
Wow.
big shock, big move for me because first of all, I never thought I was going to leave Rhode Island, never ever.
Yeah.
And when the opportunity came up to go to Vegas, that was a big step for a little boy from Bradford.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then to pick up and move to Costa Rica, I didn't speak any Spanish when I moved here. So just picking up, saying, okay, let's do this. But it's the people are so much friendlier
Yeah.
than what I've experienced in the United States anyway. And even businesses, you go in, you don't quite understand what you're doing. Man, they've bent over backwards to help you.
Wow.
Just a really nice
That's
people.
nice.
You both have been on quite the adventures. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
should write a book.
Yeah.
Well, let's make a movie, Ed. I still have the
There you
company.
go. You got a script.
What a great idea. Oh my gosh.
Get on it.
Let's
That
Get on
must
it.
have been quite a change from going from that, suck the moisture out of your skin climate of Nevada to, 140 inches a year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
When my daughter moved out to Colorado, that was the first thing she complained about. She says, "Dad, I have to put a jar of Vaseline on my skin to keep from turning into a prune out here."
yeah.
Wow.
It's,
Yeah.
and
That's hot.
I've spent since I left Westerly, I've just for the most part lived in places that were, more humid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go back to Vegas at least once a year for my business during open enrollment for Medicare.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I just watch you just dry up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Not
Yeah.
good. Wow. Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know that people are watching, and
Oh, okay.
a lot of them are saying hello. And actually,
Hello, everybody.
a couple of them are Facebook users. I can't identify who they are because their name isn't on there. But Jerry Wilsoncroft says, Frank,
yeah.
will you be dealing with the elf again in December?
Oh man, I retired the elf. I was getting a lot of pushback on the elf. He was getting a little out of control, and I think the end of it was he was in jail, but I'm trying to remember now what happened to him. But I may resurrect him for a guest appearance.
That sounds
All right.
awesome.
All right, there's your answer, Jerry. So, so I have a question for you guys. So, and it's for both of you. Can you tell us what your greatest achievements have been and what you most enjoy about this stage in your life now? So, whoever wants to go first, go for it.
I don't know. For me, it's been, I don't mean to get all zen on everybody, but inner peace and tranquility. Costa Rica here, we have the national slogan is "Pura Vida," pure life, and they really tone it down. They really don't have a concept and can't understand why North Americans continually are striving to have more and more and more once they have enough. So my saying here is I may not have everything that I want, but I have everything that I need.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
great.
And once you come to that, it's a very, very peaceful life that you can live, just keeping that in perspective. So I'd say that's been my greatest skill. Because when I first moved to Vegas, listen, I still had my plane. I had a Corvette, Cadillac. I had an Infinity. I was lighting cigars with $100 bills. We were building 8,000 square foot homes that we were selling for $2 million. So I fell into all of that.
Did you wear three-piece suits, Frank?
Oh yeah, all of that, the Cartier watches and everything else. And man, you get to Costa Rica and you realize none of that shit means anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're spending money you don't have on things you don't need to impress people you don't know.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
That's good, Frank. I like that.
that's what happened to me.
That's good. How about you, Ed?
In a similar vein, like I say, I retired in 2013. It was, or 2014. I was 59 years old, no mortgage, no bills. And I just kind of like, what, I've had enough of this. I've been able since then, I got my health back. My blood pressure's normal, everything. I was just going crazy working. And I remember the afternoon I told my boss and I says, hey, I'm leaving. And he says, yeah, it's been a bad day. I'm taking off early too. I said, no, you don't understand. That's not quite what I mean.
That's great.
And, as far as everything else in my life, I mean, there's always the standard stuff. My family, we're really proud of my kids and everything's been good. I'm kind of surprised I made it this long. I used to enjoy beer and motorcycles when I was younger. Made it through that phase and then various stuff. I had a couple of cancers and whatnot. Everything got through everything. And I kind of realized, it's time to enjoy things a little.
Good. Good for you.
I wish Pensacola was what it was 25 years ago, but it's not. There's not much I can do to change that. All I can do is enjoy it here.
Yeah,
that's good.
That sounds awesome.
It's been nice getting back in touch with people from years ago. Both everybody, from school years, and I've gotten back in touch with some of the people that I knew that were old friends while I was in the Navy. You spend a couple of years with somebody on a ship, and then you don't see each other for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's nice to run into people again.
Wow,
Very
that's
special.
awesome. So let's change it up a little bit. Tell me what you think your most favorite memory was back in the Westerly High School days. Maybe a favorite class, a favorite teacher, or something. Bring back the
Dig deep.
yeah.
I gotta go to the senior ski trips with Tom Barbone and
Yes.
Neil Robinson and all the shenanigans we pulled during those trips.
Memorable times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any favorite
Yeah.
teacher, Frank, back then?
Oh yeah. Frank Bradford Pride, commercial law,
yeah.
senior year. Yeah, he was my guy. I liked him.
That's good.
Ah,
That's great.
Yeah,
And
I
how
think-
about you?
the classes I remember most. I've always enjoyed mathematics and stuff, and Mr. Ruthier.
Oh, yeah.
George.
He was probably the best mathematics teacher I've ever encountered. As far as calculus and analytic geometry and stuff like that. And I took, in later years, I took college level courses and all that, and I always compared the professors I had to him. I had one old guy that was really close, and I had one professor that she was the exact opposite. I ended up quitting her class and waiting till another professor was going to teach it, taking it the following semester because I'm wasting my money with this one. But I always remembered that, and it's goofy. I was probably one of just a a few people. I enjoyed calculus. I always did, and all the higher math. That's
How
as
about
far
your
as high school
shenanigans?
memories. Yeah, a lot of things went on. I enjoyed a lot about it. Like I say, I was ready to leave Westerly when I turned 18,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
college wasn't in the cards, so
Yeah.
off I went.
Yep. I have to ask you, Ed, do you remember Senior Pimpernel?
I certainly do. The elusive Senior Pimpernel. I remember lifting you up,
I remember that, and I
Costa
remember how
Rosa,
cranky you were
we
about it.
hermosa. Yeah, I remember the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's great.
I
And
can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but I do remember that.
I remember you were being a little grumpy about it because it was kind of like a weird role that you had to play to, some of the guys had to lift the girls up. And all I remember was that but I used to crack up about laughing about it because I'm like, okay, here we go again. And I said, don't drop me, kind of a thing. So it was kind of funny, but
I was lucky. You only weighed about 12 pounds back then.
I was a lightweight, right? And I always remember, Frank, in my English class, you were one of the first people I knew when I first moved to Rhode Island and attended Westerly High School.
Yeah, with Miss Logan, right?
Yes,
Wow.
wasn't it Mrs. Crandall? In our freshman, no, our
way back. Okay.
sophomore year.
Yeah, we have to realize I did a lot of chemical experimenting in senior year. So.
That's before then. So we have one more question for you guys. What message would you like to give to the class of 73?
I would tell them find out what makes you happy in life, and then find a way to enjoy that. And by that I mean, don't go out and say, I want to work at something I love because then I won't be working a day in my life. No, you'll absolutely hate it. Spend your time, your working time, giving you the ability to do the things you really enjoy.
Yep.
I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm not one to enjoy your work, but don't say, I want to go work at the thing that's my passion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Make that your passion, not your work. Make your living doing something that provides you the ability to do the things you have a passion for.
Well said, Ed. Well said. How about you, Frank?
So you wanting to know what I'd like to say to our classmates? Because that's 73, or the class that's graduating this year?
Our class of 73.
Oh, I misinterpreted that completely.
Well, that's because
Yeah.
I was thinking like you, Ed, and then I'm going, well, class of 73 is us.
No,
Correct. Other
I
classmates.
I think we understood that, Ed, though, and that's
Yeah, we did.
important as well.
Yeah, no, I thought that was well said.
Hmm.
For us, I really would just have a wish that that the next 50 years for all of us is as good as the last 50 years has been for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a good ride, and there's still a long road ahead.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good attitude. I think, Kim, we should have our next reunion down there in Costa Rica.
So we can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Destination reunion.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I like that one. I like that
We
one
can
a
do it.
lot.
I can set it up.
All right. Frank, you're on. So before Diane does a little bit of class updates before we close, do you guys have anything else you want to add? You've been like really great guests. So interesting to hear your lives. I'm so impressed by all you've done and where you are now, and you're both humble, and it's just been really a pleasure to talk to you. But do you have anything else to add before we call it a day?
No, I'd just like to shout out to everybody that I was intimately involved with in 73, and hope everybody's still doing good, and if you have the opportunity to come to Costa Rica, drop me a line, man. We'll have a blast.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I wish it was more time because the reunion, that's not enough time to catch up with people. Um, there's so many things to talk about, so many stories that we could share, but you only got a certain amount of time, and I've only seen a few people over the years, since then. I know I got into the tail end of I think it was the 10th year anniversary. And if I remember right, I think I showed up when everybody was just about done because we had a party for one of my coworkers that day over in Connecticut. I know there's been a couple of people I've talked with. I know, well, I remember seeing Scott Spinky at that one, and then him and Jim Martin, we all got together at the Griswold Inn.
Yep.
Yeah.
A few years back. It was probably 2 or 3 years before Jim died, maybe a little bit longer.
Some sea shanties going on.
Yeah, there were a few beers, a little singing. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time to see both of them.
Nice.
Scott and I had a lot of fun times. We were in middle school and high school. Yeah, it's really not enough time to catch up with people. I know if you see the same people every day, you kind of those things that you share in your life, they become just, it's shared experience. You don't think about it much, but when you've been away and apart for many years, you realize that, we want to talk about this. I like to know what people have been doing, how they, what they think about things.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm not interested in what people's political views are. It's gotten crazy here.
Here you
And it has separated people more than it's brought people together.
I know.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody. It should
That's
be a
awesome.
fun time.
Well, we'll just walk into our class updates. I don't have too much right now because most of you know, we're sending out the invites either by email or snail mail, and we still have some volunteers that are getting those invites out.
Yep.
We have Facebook, where we have our YouTube channel. I think we hope to put a group email together to share some information there. What we need to do now is just know who's coming, how many people in your party are, going to attend, so we know what to do for food. We are going to do something at the Andrea that Friday night to try to extend the time to meet with people too,
Good.
which would be kind of fun. We sort of hashed around 4:00 and then 4:00 on. And then, of course, Saturday, and who knows what's going to happen Sunday. Maybe there'll be something after that, too. So I have to say, it's been pretty cool reconnecting with people, whether it's text or email, and somebody says call. I can remember even the last reunion, Ken Butler and I were, on Facebook, and he said, "Can you give me a call?" 2.5 hours later. But It was great. He's asking me a lot of questions about people, up here, and I do still love to see people. I just ran into Nancy Keith the other day at the Johnny Cake Center, and everybody's kind of excited about getting together. So
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And actually, just to add on, Diane, just to remind everyone, once you get the invitation, and I'll make this quick, but there is a spot where you can add a message, send like photos. You can do the message as a video, or you can write a message and put it in, and that's for Vid Day because we're putting a slide show together. And so that gives you guys an opportunity, once again, to add, some other thoughts or a memory or whatever you think is appropriate for that. And so it's just like another add-on for our special event in September. So
And anyone
all.
that's watching, we encourage you to contact us and be interviewed. It's fun. It's easy. It's just like Zoom.
Yes.
Easy. And Frank, I'm sorry you're not going to be making it this year to the reunion.
Yeah.
I know.
But
know.
you can't help those kind of things. And Ed, we're
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing you.
Absolutely.
And yes, we will have name tags because, you know, we probably won't recognize each other at some point. You know, we'll have name tags there for that. So yeah,
that's it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for everyone that's viewing. Thank you again, Ed and Frank. Keep up the good work, and Frank, start planning that next reunion in Costa Rica.
There we
Get
go.
going on
Yeah,
that.
we can do it.
So anyway, great to see you. Take care, and that's it. Have a great night, everyone, and thanks so
right.
much.
Thanks.
See you,
Bye-bye.
Ed.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
Bye now.